Ichigo's new Bankai, new hollow form. This is Bleach Core 4, episode 45, Life to Defend You. Let's get into it, y'all. What's going on, y'all? Welcome back to the ASMR library, where today we're taking a deep dive into episode 45 of Bleach, 1,000-Year Blood War. Defend You, later revealed to be called Life to Defend You. We have a lot to talk about, a lot of elephants in the room to address. The main three: Ichigo's new Bankai, ORIHIME Upscale, Rukia showing up, and last but not least, where this will fit into the manga and next episode, because we are officially in anime-only territory. There isn't even a point to coincide with where we're at. Now, if I had to get my first guesses out of the way, I think we're going to be right before Ryukin shows up with the arrow. That's my guess, just by judging where the Uryu versus, where the Uryu fight is hitting right now. That's where I think. Now, first and foremost, let's talk about the elephant in the room. Like I said before, Ichigo's new Bankai, officially known as Blood Chains Ichigo, which is very cool. He even says his horn is cool in the anime, in the episode, which is awesome. I like that he's aware that he has a horn. You know, some anime characters, when they transform, we don't know if they're actually aware of what they look like in that form. But Ichigo's fully aware. That's very cool. Yeah. No, I guess first things first. What are your thoughts? Yeah. I do agree. I do believe it was a little excessive on the design, something out of a fan animation. But I think because we've been asking for years, why does Ichigo only have one horn? Is he gonna get two? And the answer was yes. I do think his skin turning red or darker is very interesting. The fire representing the chains. I think this is one of those cases where the the post-production might have been a little much, because they're supposed to be chains. The fire is supposed to be chains, but I think because of the compositing, the compositing, you kind of can't tell. You can hear it, but I think if they were more clearly chains, that would make this design way better. But it's way too soon to nitpick. Something to nitpick though is his sword. His new Zangetsu's new design. It's more of a square instead of a kind of like Demon Dweller from Black Clover. Or there's another sword just like that. I can't put my finger on it, but it's an interesting design. It's a boxed design. It's like hold on, let me grab the volume. It reminds me a lot of Nanao's sword up in the first panel there, which is very interesting. My first thought to myself is, obviously, there's the route of Orihime's gone for now, but she'll reject her death and come back. But Yuhabaha, it would just be Yuhabaha, Ichigo, and Rukia for now. And then Renji and Chad might come up. You know, the for lack of a better term, the fodder will show up. That's a bit harsh, but it is kind of true. They're kind of just here for shits and giggles, yeah, for thematic purposes. But realistically, anyone besides Ichigo shouldn't be here. And I do like how they bring that up in the episode by basically Bankai Rukia not only showing up, they address that she can't use it around people, which is true because of the nature of her ice. It's not ice, it's gas. And they also bring up, well, she got one shot. She got straight up impaled halfway through the episode. And, you know, seeing Orihime getting her shit rocked was crazy. The scenes where Ichigo was just getting stabbed over and over again. It was interesting, you know. Because, you know, we've had this in